Well, hello, all of you Virginia brides to be out there. Welcome back to our Virginia Bride Chat. Today, I have with me Stacy, the owner of Burleson's Big Day. Welcome. And Stacy, what made you become a wedding planner?
It's really an interesting story. I never would have thought in a million years that this would be my passion and my end all. I grew up a serious tomboy. Like, I didn't put on a dress until I was in high school. I was the
Wow.
oldest daughter to a Marine, and I would spend my time when my dad was home, crawled up underneath our vehicles, changing oil and coveralls and greased head to toe. So like I said, never would have thought in a million years that I would have aspired to this. But about 18 years ago, just offhandedly, I was asked by family and friends to do parties, weddings. I did a couple of corporate events, and the OCD kicked in, and it just really hit home. But I wasn't quite ready to make that plunge. So I did it on the side. I'm a financial planner by trade. So I have that financial background that I love to help my couples with. I love a budget more than anybody. So about 4 years ago, I was working with the DJ and just helping them out. And there were some hiccups at that wedding because they didn't have a coordinator, and I just jumped right in and did what I needed to do. And at the end of the night, the mother of the bride, praised me, thanked me. And then that's when the DJ said, "Hey, have you ever thought about doing this, more permanent?" And I was like, you know what, maybe now is a good time. So in November of 97 or November of 17, sorry about that. I said, let's do this. So that's when I launched Burleson's Big Day events. I wish I can say I agonized over, my brand or anything like that. I literally came up with it like in 30 minutes.
So it was definitely meant to be.
Yes, yeah, we hit the ground running. In 2018, did 36 weddings, and then smacked my husband because we have a rule in the house, and my comfort level is 25. I feel like at 25, I can give full attention to my couples and still spend time with family and everything. And so once I hit that cap, I talked to hubby, and I'm like, okay, well, are we doing anything this weekend? Because I just got an inquiry, and he kept saying, no, go ahead, go ahead. And then when I reconciled the books, I was like, no wonder I'm exhausted. So,
Oh my
so it's
gosh.
been
Well,
great.
that's
It's been a great
amazing.
ride.
Yeah. Well, and I do think it takes a very special person. You have to definitely be organized. You have to love doing events. And, I think it's great that you have that financial background because that's a big part of the whole wedding planning is you got to stay on budget. Brides
Yes.
out there listening.
That's absolutely right.
So,
Absolutely right.
yeah, well, tell me about the most challenging wedding that you've planned and how you handled the problems that may have come up. Because I
Yeah,
don't think
so
sometimes people realize what goes on in the background of these weddings.
there are people that'll say, there is no perfect day, and I like to argue that. If we planners, we're special. I mean, you've interviewed many planners, you've seen many planners. Um, we're kind of a special breed, maybe a little eccentric, a little different. But we have to be a chameleon and change our personality to 100 plus people in the room, in essence, while still catering to our VIPs. And yes, there are some challenging weddings, but in all honesty, there hasn't been one wedding that I am thankful that we haven't been able to overcome an obstacle. But there was one challenging wedding that just recently happened, that I'll go ahead and share with everybody. It was my October of last year wedding. Of course, COVID, everything happens in COVID.
Yes.
And
And October is
I,
one of the most popular months.
well, it was kind of, again, the long story short of it was I was climbing up a ladder to do an overhead installation. My assistant was holding the ladder. I crawled back down. She went to go grab another panel piece. I didn't like the way it looked, and without thinking, just crawled right back up the ladder, and the ladder came crashing down. 7
Oh
stitches
no.
later in the chin and 3 in the knee.
Oh.
Rehearsal night, I spent an hour and a half in the emergency room. But I think what was funny, and my staff still laughs at me to this day, is when I finally rolled off the ladder after realizing nothing was broken, they saw that I had split my chin, and I was like, okay, well, get the steri strips, get the glue, and just patch me up. And they're like, no, 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 you're going to the emergency room. So,
Oh
so,
my gosh.
so battered and bruised, the wedding day, and the ER doctor said, well, you just need to move, or else you're going to be really sore. And I'm like, wedding the next day, obvious. But thanks
Right.
to COVID, I got to wear masks, so nobody saw that I had stitches.
Exactly.
um, a few hours before the ceremony, I got an email notification from the officiant that they had contracted COVID and was not able to attend. So,
Oh my gosh.
so it was kind of like a nice little element of stuff. Thankfully, I was able to step in and officiate their wedding. And, this couple,
So
it was
you're
truly,
you're certified as an officiant too.
yes. So I dabble in a little bit of everything. I feel it's our responsibility to know what goes on with with everything in the industry. I've helped DJs out. I've been assistant photographers, not that I'm going to pick up a camera, but
Right.
I know how to hold lighting, and I can carry a camera bag. And I've helped caterers. Again, I don't plan to cook. I am not the world's greatest cook. That is not something I plan to aspire in. But again, I truly feel that to be a well-rounded planner, we need to know what goes on with each of our professionals in order to fully execute, and what goes into their role in the day. So I try to team up with as many as I can to help throughout the year. So yeah,
I
so
think
that was,
that's
yes.
amazing. I'm sure that couple was so thankful that you were able to officiate. My gosh. I mean,
Yeah, and they
but
didn't even
that's
skip a
one
beat.
thing. Yeah, that's one thing people, I think that's so important. One of the main reasons why you want somebody that's a professional planner involved is because, just think about those things if they happened, if it was just a family member, Aunt Jane doing the wedding. I don't think it would turn out that way. And I think that's something that's really important for people to keep in mind as one of the main reasons why you do want to have someone
Absolutely.
that has done this so many times. They can think quick on their feet. They can, that you have access to, vendors and all of these resources. Speaking of, so are your couples required to book only vendors you recommend, or how does that work?
So, no, although I do truly wish that they would. The professionals that I have, in my arsenal, I mean, they're tried and true. I know what to expect. They know what to expect from me. We've been in these special elements together, and we're just flawless together. But it doesn't mean that they're a good fit for everybody by any means. Budget, personality, all plays into my recommendations and my advice. And at the end of the day, I am going to work with any new professional. I love adding new professionals to my recommended referral list. And and so I'm fine with that. Like I said, there are times when I wish I would have had a certain professional on the team, but no, it's not a requirement on my end.
Well, again, I think that's a very good point. Personally, just from my experience, I know that's so true, because when you have a group of vendors that are used to working together, you have that synergy and things just go so much smoothly, especially like if you're familiar with a certain venue and you work there a lot. It makes all the difference in the world, I believe, as well. So I definitely recommend to our listeners that are listening right now to kind of follow that advice, because again, these professionals know best, because this is their industry. This is what they do professionally. And sometimes you just need to kind of listen to the professionals, because your wedding is going to go so much greater when you have people working together that get along, they know each other, and they're used to working together. All right, well, we're going to take a quick break right now, and we are going to remind everybody to be sure to pop over to vabridemagazine.com, our website, to find out how you can become a premium subscription member to Virginia Bride. If you subscribe and become a premium member, your subscription includes a free copy of the current issue of Virginia Bride magazine that's shipped out to you, along with a really cute Virginia Bride t-shirt that says, "I'm a Virginia Bride." You also are automatically entered into exciting giveaways each month. These giveaways are amazing. They include things like custom body and bath and beauty works. You have hair and makeup services. There are photography services for engagement sessions. We have overnight getaways at gorgeous hotels and bed and breakfasts, spa services, even things like personal chef meals shipped right to your house. So these are definitely amazing giveaways that you're entered into every month. We randomly select a winner each month. You also have the option to send in your specific wedding questions that one of our experts will answer directly to you. And of course, you have access to our premium videos, like the one you're watching right now. So be sure to pop over and sign up to become a premium member today. And now we're popping back with Stacy, and we're going to continue on with their interview. So tell me, how has it been for you as a wedding planner during these challenging times with COVID?
So I took a slightly different approach with my couples. I had 10 reschedules, and I told all of them, don't do spring, do things a little later in the year, summer, end of summer, fall timeframe. And I was very fortunate that a good portion of my couples, took that advice. That while I'm dead right now until they pick up in June, it's allowed me to focus a lot of my energy on taking care of my couples more efficiently and more effectively. I've implemented new systems in place to help our planning time together more seamless. So my back end processes have just really come together. We work on things collectively, so it's just not me telling my couples what to do and then them doing it. It's us working together simultaneously. So it's really shaped and defined my business on a scale that I would not have had the time to do if I would have been so busy. So I'm very thankful for that, and I'm slowly transitioning my couples over to this new platform, and they're all in love with it. And so that is a big sigh of relief, because when you end up investing that much money, especially in a COVID timeframe, when you don't have income really coming in, it's nice to know that you're making sound financial decisions when it comes to your business. So I'm excited to share those.
That's great. That is wonderful. Because, it has been a very challenging time for everybody everyone, of course, but especially in the wedding industry, because there's been so much uncertainty and not knowing, and, people kind of on tetherhooks waiting to find out, can we have our wedding? Can we not have it? And, there's a lot of coordination and things that go into effect with all of the wedding vendors having to shuffle around and reschedule constantly. So I think it's becoming looking very positive going forward for the rest of this year, hopefully. The numbers have improved for the weddings are opening up now to 250 outdoors, 100 inside. So yeah, I think we're all getting there.
We're over the hump,
yes, over the hump. How do you juggle all of this work in your home life?
So obviously I'm a little older in life. So, thankfully while I do have two daughters, one is almost finished with college, and then my youngest is almost 15. And not to say that she's self-sufficient, but for the most part, she really is. COVID, of course, she loves field hockey, but hasn't been able to play that because of COVID. But it's really just communication. And just like with any marriage, it works because of communication. And we have a family calendar, and everything is on this calendar. It doesn't matter if it's for myself, for the kids, for my husband, because he's also a small business owner himself. And we're always going in different directions. But again, going back to something I had said earlier, we have a mutual agreement. And after we hit so many weekends of being gone, we set aside time to keep that spark alive. And it's the same advice that I give to my couples. During this planning process, don't get so wrapped up in the planning of it that you forget why you're here to begin with. Because to keep that marriage alive, it takes work, especially for as long as we've been married. I mean, here, I'll let you do the math, so 96. But it does, it takes a lot of work, and not every day is flawless by any means, but communication is the best way to get through everything, and having support from, the one that you married is a game changer for sure.
Oh, it means everything. And well, of course, you being a planner, obviously you're going to be able to juggle all of those things because that is what your profession is all about. So, what advice would you give and offer to couples looking for a planner coordinator?
So this one's a little more complicated because I already said, budgets are very, very important. For planners, however, I kind of want you to throw a budget out the window for the time being. And when you're interviewing, you need to find somebody that meshes with your personality, that you're entrusting, because you yourself are investing so much money into this one day. You need to entrust that the person that you're finding in this role is going to be that safety net, is going to make sure that that investment was worth every penny. And the last thing you want to do is necessarily lowball what someone like myself is going to do and what someone is going to provide to you, not only the day before and the day of, but months leading up to your wedding. We're a little special because we don't believe in this 60, 90-day out stuff. We don't. I mean, no matter what the package is, our couples have us from day one. My philosophy is that if I can just hop on a Zoom and do this, I could do this all day long. If I don't have to get my vehicle and drive, why should I charge you? I'm already doing this anyway. So
Right.
My couples have us from that time, from that starting point. And, so a lot of couples will actually remove a planner out of the budget altogether because they know the importance that we're going to bring to the table. For those that have never been married, it's a little harder for them to identify, because they claim that they just need somebody to show up and execute the day. Well, that's yes and no, because again, it doesn't matter your budget, 10,000, 15,000, 100,000, that's an investment to you. If you're shelling out your money, that's your investment. So you need to find somebody that's going to represent you on that day. And no person can literally show up the day of or the day before without truly knowing you to execute this day as flawless as possible. And we're very thankful for our couples and our families that have, entrusted in us. And we love every new couple that crosses our paths. We're not a perfect fit for everybody. And I know that. Again, I've got this out over the top personality, and sometimes it just doesn't mesh well, but for those that take the chance on us, it's been well worth it on both sides. So that's my advice. Find something that you truly can embrace and let them in and entrust time investment that you're committing of each other. And then they will do what they need to do to, successfully execute that for you.
Sure, absolutely. So, Stacy, do you just, of course, you're located in the Richmond area. Do you just do weddings in Richmond, or do you travel and do weddings in other areas?
I will go wherever I am needed. I've even done a wedding in Idaho before. So it's
all right. So absolutely. So you'll do destination weddings as well.
Yep.
And of course, serving all of.
Exactly. Wherever the need is. I love to drive. So yeah, travel does not bother me whatsoever.
So you absolutely cover all of Virginia.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yes. And everybody listening, you can find Stacy's information at the end of this video, but also you can find Stacy on our website on Virginia Bride Magazine. She's on our wedding services page under wedding planning, under all of these different areas in Virginia. Well, wrapping up, my last question is, and I think you've probably already answered this to quite a degree, but what makes you stand out from other wedding planners?
So I did kind of touch on this before. We are all very unique and special with what we bring to the table. And I actually had, I had a couple ask me that, actually it was a groom. I will just let that know now. It was a groom that asked me this not long ago. And I'm very quick on my feet, but he threw me off because I wasn't prepared. And he point blank said, we've interviewed all these planners, we've read all these reviews. Why do your reviews stand out so much more above all the others? And I was taken aback by that a little bit because I don't like being in the spotlight, but I do cherish my couples. And it took me a minute. And I even said, you've got me on that one, just give me a minute to think about it and we'll regroup. And when I finally had the answer, to me, this is very personal. It is my business, but it's personal. You know, I married my high school sweetheart. I have that love story that everybody aspires to. And again, it's not perfect. It has its moments. But I love love so much. And I know that's a cliche, but I truly do. This cheesy grin that I've had on my face this whole time really does not leave. And that's what I'm notorious for. And my reviews depict that. My reviews show how personal this is to me. And while my husband may not always agree because he's so business oriented, I'm looking for that perfect couple. I'm looking for those perfect VIPs and those families that we can easily represent each other and have a beautiful, successful day that will lead my couples into this foundation for a successful marriage. And that's what it takes. So again, we're all very special and very unique, but for me, it's very, very personal.
Well, it definitely shows. And you know, a wedding day is supposed to be a happy, fun day. And you know, Stacy, with your bubbly personality, I can't see how anybody would go wrong. So I really want to thank you for chatting with us today. At the end of this video, everyone, we're going to have some of Stacy's work showcased along with her contact information. So again, thank you so much for being here with us and chatting and filling us in and getting us to know you a little bit better and about your services.
Perfect. Thank you again. I look forward to what 2021 brings and of course going forward. So everybody have a wonderful year.
Thanks. Take care.